How to use plurals and possessives in writing. Plural and possessive forms of English words often confuse beginning writers. Many writers incorrectly use apostrophes to indicate both plural and possessive forms, while many writers for whom English is not their first language omit the apostrophe entirely because their native language does not use it. Still others are unsure when to use s and when to use es to indicate the plural form of a word. Method 1. Deciding when to use plural and possessive forms. 1. Use the plural form to indicate more than one of something. For example, I installed one door of the 2 doors I bought. The plural doors indicates that more than one door was purchased. 2. Use the possessive form to indicate ownership of something. For example, the boy's dog chased the girls down the street. The possessive boys shows that the boy owns the dog that chased the girls. Add an apostrophe and an s to change a word into the possessive form of that word. 3. Know that there are exceptions to the rules. Most words will follow the basic guidelines for transforming a word into a plural or possessive form. However, there are some words that do not follow the rules. It takes time and practice to identify if a word is an exception. Having a quality dictionary is helpful in these situations. Method 2. Making a word plural. 1. Put an s after most nouns to make the word plural. Cat means there is only one cat. Cats means that there is more than one cat. This covers most words in the English language. An s without an apostrophe is also used to show the plural of an acronym in all capitals, such as POWs for prisoners of war or RBIs for runs batted in, or for decade labels such as the 1880s or 1950s. When the decade label is abbreviated, such as 50s for 1950s, an apostrophe is used before the number 50 to show the truncation. An apostrophe s may be used to indicate a plural for single lowercase letters, abbreviations with periods or other abbreviations where the s alone would be confusing such as XS. Generally, apostrophes are only used for lower case letters. Capital letters and numbers, such as used in MP3s, do not require an apostrophe. In general, an apostrophe is not used to indicate a plural. Abbreviations for units of measure do not have plural forms, while abbreviations used to indicate parts of writing either take no plural, ch for chapter or chapters, or a single letter for the singular and a double letter for plural, p for page, but pp for pages. 2. Be on the lookout for compound nouns. Certain compound words require identifying which word is the word being pluralized. For compound words such as daughter, in, law or attorney general, the first word is pluralized, daughters, in, law or attorneys general. 3. Put an es after words that end with ch, sh, x, z, s or sounds like these letter combinations. For example, the plural of ditch is ditches, the plural of brush is brushes, the plural of fox is foxes, the plural of fuzz is fuzzes and the plural of dress is dresses. If the word already ends in e, the plural is formed by adding an s, the plural of judge is judges, and the plural of phrase is phrases. Some plurals of words ending in s double the final s before adding the plural suffix. The plural form of bus may be written as either buses or buses, depending on whether bus refers to a vehicle, buses, or an electronic component, buses. 4. Put an es after words ending in o preceded by a consonant. The plural of tomato is tomatoes, and the plural of zero is zeros. Words ending in o followed by a single consonant that English gets from another language typically form their plurals by adding s. The plural of piano is pianos. Some words ending in o preceded by a consonant can form their plurals using either es or s. The plural of tornado can be written either tornadoes or tornadoes, and the plural of volcano can be written either volcanoes or volcanoes. 5. Put an es after words ending in y preceded by a consonant. First, however, you need to change the y to an I. For example, the plural of berry is berries, and the plural of lady is ladies. This rule does not generally apply for proper names that end in y. The plural of Tony, the man's name or the theater award, is Tony's. A few words ending in y preceded by a vowel also change the y to an I. The plural of money can be written as monies. 6. Put an es after some words ending in an f sound. You will need to change the f to a v. The plural of calf is calves, the plural of knife is knives, and the plural of leaf is leaves, except when referring to the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey team. However, the plural of proof is proofs, not proves, which is a form of the verb to prove. Some words ending with f can form their plurals by either adding s or changing the f to av and adding es, such as hoof, hoofs or hooves, or staff, staffs or staves. For some words, the preferred form depends on usage. The plural of dwarf is dwarfs when referring to short real people and dwarves when referring to a race in fantasy literature. It is helpful to consult a dictionary if you aren't sure whether you need to convert the f to a v. 7. Be aware of mutated plurals. Mutated plurals have irregular plural forms. For example, children is the plural of child and women is the plural of woman. Latin and Greek words are another form of mutated plurals. These nouns maintain their Latin and Greek form when they are plural. For example, criterion or phenomenon form their plurals by dropping the on and adding an a, criteria, phenomena. Other unusual plurals include mice, plural of mouse, geese, plural of goose, and feet, plural of foot. Sheep and moose are the same as singular or plural nouns in English. 8. Be aware of collective nouns. Collective nouns are singular when they refer to a group and plural when they refer to an individual. Some common collective nouns are group, staff, team, family, audience, committee. Staff is singular in this sentence because the group is acting as a unit. The staff is very satisfied. Staff is plural in this sentence because the sentence is referring to what individuals are doing. The staff are working in different locations this week. Names of companies, organizations, and sports teams are considered singular. The sports team, the Tennessee Titans, is singular even though there is an S on the end. American and British English conventions differ on whether to use plural verbs with collective nouns. American English usually uses singular verbs with collective nouns, such as the crowd is going wild for this team. British English may use a singular or plural verb with collective nouns, such as the crowd are going wild for this team. Method 3. Making a word show possession. 1. Form the possessive of a common or proper singular noun by adding an apostrophe followed by an s. This rule can be applied to all singular nouns, whether they end in s or not. For example, Agnes' book, Mary's book, and the dog's toy all follow this rule. 2. Form the possessive of a plural noun by adding an apostrophe. If the word ends in an s, add an apostrophe after the s. If the word does not end in an s, add an apostrophe followed by an s. If you want to make an irregular plural noun possessive, you need to add an apostrophe followed by an s. The possessive form of lions would be lions, while the possessive form of children would be children's, as in the children's toys fell into the lion's den at the zoo. 3. Form the possessive of a personal pronoun without using an apostrophe. The correct forms of the third-person singular he, she, or it are his, hers and its, without apostrophes. The correct form of the first person I is my if the item possessed is named and mine if it isn't. Similarly, the possessive forms of the first-person plural we are our and ours, respectively, for you, they are your and yours, respectively, and for they are their and theirs, respectively. 4. Form the possessive of compound nouns carefully. The placement of an apostrophe is different when the nouns act separately or together. In this sentence, the compound nouns are acting separately. Jane's and John's bikes are in the garage. Both Jane and John have their own bike in the garage. In this sentence, the compound nouns are acting collectively. John and Jane's bike is in the garage. This sentence indicates that John and Jane share possession of a bike. Just think if the entities share ownership over what they possess, then they also share the apostrophe. If they own separate things, then they each need their own apostrophe. While the first component in a compound noun, such as daughter, in, law or attorney general, may pluralize the first word in the compound, the possessive is always appended to the last word in the compound, as in daughter, in, laws or attorney generals. In the case of the plural possessive, it would be acceptable to write daughters, in, laws or attorneys generals, but it would be less confusing to show possession with a prepositional phrase, such as of my daughters, in, law or of the attorneys general. Tips. Always consult a dictionary if you are confused about the plural form of a word. You should proofread your work to make sure you are using the right forms of words. If you habitually write the plural forms when you should write the possessive forms, look for words ending in s or es to see if an apostrophe is necessary. If, instead, you habitually use the possessive forms when you should write the plural forms, look at each apostrophe to see if its use is justified.